World. Otherwise, to remain in India, it was not possible. I wanted to start a movement in India, but I was not at all encouraged. The black cargo ship, small and weathered, was marooned at dockside, a gangway leading from the dock to the ship deck. Indian merchants, sailors curiously eyed the elderly, saffron-dressed sadhu as he spoke last words to his companions and then left them and walked determinedly toward the boat. For thousands of years, Krishna Bhakti had been known only in India, not outside, except in twisted, faithless reports by foreigners. And the only swamis to have reached America had been non-devotees, Mayavadi and personalists. But now, Krishna was sending Bhaktivedanta Swami as his emissary. So actually, if Prabhupada, given this mission by Krishna, by Lord Chaitanya, by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, by the Goswamis, he was ordered to come because they saw that there was no hope for the world. It's not that, we see so many nice gurus and leaders here and there, but if it wasn't Prabhupada opening that jar, the honey, the nectar, people would only be looking from the outside and licking the bottle, not tasting the real honey. So this is the journey to America. Today the ship is plying very smoothly. I feel better today. I am feeling separation from Sri Vrindavan and my Lord Sri Govinda, Gopinath, Radha Damodar. My only solace is Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, in which I'm tasting the nectarine of Lord Chaitanya's Leela. I have left Bharata Bhumi just to execute the order of Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati in pursuance of Lord Chaitanya's order. I have no qualification, but I have taken up the risk just to carry out the order of His divine grace. I depend fully on their mercy so far away from Vrindavan. So there's a lot of beautiful descriptions here concerning Srila Prabhupada's journey and his determination. Just imagine going to a foreign land, simple little white rubber shoes, dhoti kurta. He did not come, someone was joking with Prabhupada that, why at this age you want to go to America? Why not when you were younger? Oh, you want to go like the rest of them to see the sights. He goes, what do I have to see? My life is finished, sons and family and responsibilities. Prabhupada was Vaikuntha man, coming from the spiritual world, and he had no interest to see or to somehow or other so-called enjoy the Western world. Some people think there's something very special there. Money grows on trees and you can go there and have a really good time, go in your backyard and pick all the fruits of $100 bills from the trees, and you become fully happy and satisfied. But it's a grand illusion. There's no happiness anywhere in the material world. There's one part I wanted to read, if I can find it. So Prabhupada was armed with his books. He was not at all interested in just, it says here, I planned that I must go to America. Generally they go to London, but I did not want to go to London. I was simply thinking how to go to New York. I was scheming whether I should go this way, through Tokyo, Japan, or that way. Which way is cheaper? That was my proposal, and I was targeting New York always. Sometimes I was dreaming that I have come to New York. Then Bhaktivedanta Swami met Mr. Agarwal, and he made the arrangements with his son to go to America. And there was Prabhupada was not just some person selling religious books just to make some business or profit. Prabhupada was giving the highest knowledge, the highest nectar. So we'll read the Bhagavatam verse, and I'm sure I'll find it. It's a small section here. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, King Chitraketu meets the Lord. This is text 6th canto, chapter 16, text 5. Bandhu gyat yari madhyasta mitro dasina vidvisha sarva eva hi sarvesham bhavanti kramasho mitaha bandhu gyat yari madhyasta mitro dasana vidvishaha sarva eva hi sarvesham bhavanti kramasho mitaha. Bandhu, friends. Jati, family members. Ari, enemies. Madhyasta, neutrals. Mitra, well-wishers. Udasina, indifferent. Vidvisha, or envious persons. Sarve, all. Eva, indeed. He, certainly. Sarvesham, of all. Bhavanti, become. Kramasha, gradually. Mita, of one another. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this material world, which advances like a river that carries away the living entity, all people become friends, relatives, and enemies in due course of time. They also act neutrally. They mediate. They despise one another, and they act in many other relationships. Nonetheless, despite these various transactions, no one is permanently related. Srila Prabhupada's purport. It is our practical experience in this material world that the same person who is one's friend today becomes one's enemy tomorrow. Our relationships as friends or enemies, family men or outsiders, are actually the results of our different dealings. Chitraketu Maharaj was lamenting for his son who was now dead, but he could have considered the situation otherwise. Quote, "This living entity," he could have thought, "was my enemy in my last life, and now having appeared as my son, he is prematurely leaving just to give me pain and agony." End quote. Why should he not consider his dead son his former enemy, and instead of lamenting, be jubilant because of an enemy's death? As stated in Bhagavad-Gita 3:27, Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha. Factually, everything is happening because of our association with the modes of material nature. Therefore, one who is friend today in association with the mode of goodness may be my enemy tomorrow, in association with the modes of passion and ignorance. As the modes of material nature work in illusion, we accept others as friends, enemies, sons or fathers in terms of the reactions of different dealings under different conditions. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitang Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. So this is a very important lesson we're hearing here, and Chitraketu's desire to have a son was given a son by the blessings of Angira, Harsha Shoka, someone who could give him pleasure, and then great pain would come, soon to follow. Material life is like that, flickering happiness of material world, but then ultimately it results in great pain and agony. So I found that little part. Just want to finish reading this, then we'll finish the class. As the day of his departure approached, Bhakti Vedanta Swami took stock of his meager possessions. He had a suitcase, umbrella, supply of dry cereal. He did not know what he would find to eat in America. Perhaps there's only meat. He's going somewhere he's never even been, going to a foreign land, and all very unpredictable conditions may be there. If so, he was prepared to live on boiled potatoes and the cereal. His main luggage, several trunks of his books, was being handled by Scindia Cargo. 200 3-volume sets. The very thought of the books gave him confidence. Isn't it? When a soldier goes on a battlefield, he has a gun, he has enough bullets, he feels a little bit confident, I can defeat the enemy. So Srila Prabhupada had his little umbrella, little suitcase, and armed with the books, the Bhagavatam, he saw as bombs, better than the atomic bomb. So it gave him confidence. When the day came for him to leave, he needed that confidence. He was making a momentous break with his previous life, and he was dangerously old and not in strong health. And he was going to unknown and probably unwelcoming country. So here, this unwelcoming country, we also should take note that Shri Gaurnitai, Krishna Balaram, Radha Shama Sundalita Vishaka Devi, that we should learn to become more welcoming. I've had many visitors say how devotees are so rude and devotees are so rough and insensitive. So this is not a symptom of devotee. Devotee is very kind, very loving, very welcoming, very tolerant. Not that we just completely chastise everybody that comes before us. So this is very came up here, probably unwelcoming country. So we should not be an unwelcoming society, a temple. We should be more welcoming and more loving. Learn to smile. To be poor and unknown in India was one thing, even in these Kali Yuga days, when India's leaders were rejecting Vedic culture and imitating the West. It was still India. It was still the remains of Vedic civilization. He had been able to see millionaires, governors, the prime minister, simply by showing up at their doors and waiting. A sannyasi was respected. The Srimad Bhagavatam was respected. But in America, it would be different. He would be no one, a foreigner. And there was no tradition of sadhu, no temples, no free ashrams. But when he thought of the books, he was bringing transcendental knowledge in English, he became confident. Prabhupada also in 1972 was giving lectures on the nectar of devotion. And he was stating how Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, and the Rupanugas, the Vaishnava tradition, was to give this mercy of Krishna consciousness to everyone, the malechas, the fallen souls. He said, so do not try to drive away your foreign devotees, because there was some, we're still ingrained on the bodily concept, and we start thinking, this is my country, what are you doing here anyway? It's my place, my body, my country. Everything belongs to Krishna. The body belongs to Krishna. The soul belongs to Krishna. Nobody's father, nobody's mother. Everybody is simply a part of Krishna, a servant of Krishna. And Krishna consciousness is to give people knowledge of the goal and purpose of life, not to keep us in a community consciousness, in bodily consciousness. So Prabhupada said he would be no one but a foreigner, and there was no tradition of sadhu free ashram. He thought of the books, he was bringing transcendental knowledge in English, he would become confident. Then he met someone in America and gave him a flyer, Srimad Bhagavatam, India's message of peace and goodwill. This is India's message of peace and goodwill. It was August 13, a few days before Janmashtami, the appearance of Lord Krishna. It says, we read this part, many residents would not even think about leaving Vrindavan. Many sadhus would stick to the tradition of being here. But this prediction of Mahaprabhu, the desire of Bhakti Siddhanta, that the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra will be known in every town and village of the world. How would that be accomplished? If all the sadhus stayed in Vrindavan, how would the world know about Krishna? How would the world know about the chanting of the holy name? So, Prabhupada was taken to the boat, ready to leave, has everything in order, and he was feeling like, his sons and friends and relatives, this is all history. This is all something that is temporary in this material world. But Prabhupada was a very expert. He created a family. He said, but I have my family in India. I left them to spread the message of Krishna consciousness. Now, my Guru Maharaj has sent me so many nice sons and daughters. So we do have family. My godbrother, godsister, because we recognize that everyone who's taking up the process of Krishna consciousness is looking to awaken their original love for Krishna. This is the problem in the material world, that everyone has some motive, some desire to become, rich, powerful, to become happy with, this is my family. Everyone's very happy and proud of their family. It's okay, Krishna, due to previous karma, Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam, the Daivi, this nature of material nature has arranged that this spirit soul appeared in this family. And that spirit soul And we see sometimes children cause so much pain and agony to the parents. Although there's some loving sentiment, there's some, love and duty and affection. Prabhupada tells of how the son and mother were in court for many, many years, spending thousands and fighting viciously for possessions or disagreements. And it could happen that way. And even the Venu's father, King Anga, Venu father, he wanted to have someone to take over the kingdom, so he tried to train him in so many ways, but he just turned out to be a rotten apple. He was killing his friends. He was acting in such hellish way that the Brahmanas ultimately had to kill him. But Anga was so disgusted, he tried and tried with love and attention, but at nighttime he just snuck out of the kingdom and went to the forest for renunciation. He just gave up his family. He was not at all interested. So, friends and enemies in this world, one may appear to be friends. I know even that they had the alliance, Hitler and Stalin in Germany, they had an alliance to fight together and be friends and let's conquer these other people. And then Hitler changed his mind and he attacked Russia, but Stalin was so bewildered, he wouldn't believe it, he could not believe it. How could my friend betray me like that? So this betrayal is going on at every moment. And people are struggling and suffering in this material world because of not understanding what is their position. That we are servant of Krishna, and one should not become a father, one should not become a mother, one should not become a guru, unless he can deliver his dependent from the cycle of birth and death. This is the struggle. But it's not something we can just philosophically whitewash, because I saw the other day a picture of my grandson in school, and it brings happiness. Oh, look how cute he is, and how he's having so many exchanges. It's natural, and this is the bonding. Krishna is so much loved by Mother Yashoda. Krishna, Balaram, having friendly, loving relationships. Nanda Maharaj. So the real love is there, and so it's not that we just become calloused, stern, hard-hearted personalities and think that there's no family, no need of relationships. Many times when someone would join the Krishna consciousness movement and the parents would call and, no, they're just demons, No, I'm not going to call. I have nothing to do with them. And so this was naturally very frightful for our family members, the mother dedicating so much time and energy, the father is taking care. So we do have responsibilities. We have responsibilities to the family. We have responsibilities to the demigods. The sunshine comes. When it's cold, it's very welcome. And when it's dry, the rains are coming. So we have many obligations and duties. But one who takes up Krishna consciousness, he's freed of those obligations and duties. But that does not mean that he becomes, callous or insensitive. Because if one shows respect, one is humble and shows appreciation, then the person becomes attracted by that behavior. And if the person who's showing that respect and humility is a nice devotee, he's chanting nicely, he's coming to see the deities, he's reading scripture, following the words of Krishna in the Bhagavad-Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is benefit for the family. This is benefit for all those who he may be associated with. This Daivi Varnashram, or this Bhagavad Dharma, real religion is the religion of Krishna consciousness. is the law of God. It's not some temporary religion that's teaching envy, that if you're not following my religion, then you take the sword, I will take your head off. You know, it's like, but it's not that kind of religion. This is knowledge, clear teaching of the words of Krishna, the words of God. You know, Lord Rama came to give a message and to deliver. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanang dharmasya tadatmanang srjam yaham. Whenever and wherever there's a decline in religious principles, the Lord appears. He sends his representative. But there's always seems to be trouble. When Krishna appeared, Kamsa's killing all the babies, and Kamsa's imprisoned his father, and destroying the sacrifices, and trying to disturb Brahminical culture. This was going on when Krishna's appearance was there. So many demons. We're here in Krishna book. Yesterday we heard some pastimes of Lord Balaram killing so many rascal demons. And although there are many, many unlimited incarnations, but even just in our short history, we see during Krishna's time so much trouble and so much confusion. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, prior to that, there was a lot of restriction. You know, the Mughal rule was not allowing freedom of religion, but somehow during Lord Chaitanya's time there was some religious tolerance, and Lord Chaitanya had freedom to spread this mission of Sankirtan, this Nam Sankirtan. And even they were complaining in the temples, the Brahmanas and ritualistic priests, that this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is loudly chanting the name of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the sleeping time of Lord Narayan. He's going to disturb the Lord, and there'll be all kinds of havoc. So the priests were complaining because they were thinking that their economic condition might get compromised by the Lord's efforts of spreading the Sankirtan movement. Even when Lord Jesus was condemning the activities of the priests in the temple, the Jewish temple, so they crucified him. Oh, get rid of him. This is not good. So material world means a world of envy, jealousy, fighting between one another. This is material existence. But spiritual life means that when you see a devotee is doing nice, oh, he's distributing books so nicely, he's preaching so nicely, devotee becomes happy. Oh, the Lord is empowering him. You know, naturally, I've been on the streets for many years doing Sankirtan, so sometimes it's difficult. You know, you have to control the mind and control the senses. You have to pray to the Lord, please empower me to give this book, this knowledge, because this may be their only opportunity, not only in this lifetime, in billions of lifetimes, to awaken even the idea of eternality, of going back home to the spiritual kingdom. So sometimes it's difficult. And you see some devotee, he's very easily distributing books and people are reciprocating. So you might think that, oh why is he doing so good? Let me maybe trip him up a little bit or get rid of him from a good spot. But I have one devotee who's old book distributor. And I said, what do you think about that? He said, oh, that's just so enlivening. Jai, Prabhupada's giving him special mercy, that one is receiving the blessings of the Guru. Without receiving the blessings of the pure devotee, one cannot make any spiritual advancement. There's no hope. And now we're taking it casually. We have temple, we have books, we have deities, we have kirtan, we have prasad, for sure, we have a lot of prasad. And we become a little bit ritualistic. Not everyone. I'm sure there are many who are very sincere and dedicated. But if we become lazy in spiritual life, if we become calloused to the importance and the urgency of utsahan nishchayat karyat tat tat karma pavartanat, that we need enthusiasm, determination, patience, without which you cannot have this fruit of love of God. It's not simply meant for idle eating and sleeping and just, try to, it's not a social club. Although we do have activities like a social club in the sense of we have cultural plays, dance, music, tradition, festivals. We have everything. Everything is there, present in Krishna consciousness. But we have to become Krishna conscious. Sometimes people say, oh, things are going nice, but there's no real spiritual leadership. Spiritual leadership is there, and that's Prabhupada. Prabhupada's our spiritual leader, and he is whipping us. Read my books. Hear the lectures of Bhagavatam. Read the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Stay in the association of devotees. Perform some devotional service. Go out and save the conditioned souls. You have to have that spirit. Why would Srila Prabhupada at such an advanced age, not in good health, why would he take such a risk, such a burden? Practically everyone was thinking, he's going to die. Why he should get on this ship? No, Swami, we're not going to pass your pee for him because you're simply going to die on the boat. And if you do make it there, you're just going to starve because there's nothing to eat. They're not going to be very friendly people to invite you in. Like in India, please come in and take a prasad, and there's some hospitality, maybe some Vedic culture, but there's no Vedic culture. Beware of dog. And it says trespassers will be shot on sight. If still living, will be shot again. It's like, if you trespass in America, it's a serious thing. You go in someone's house, they can kill you. You go beyond the gate, the dog will eat you. Beware of dog. So basically, you can get the mood of the material world that, you're not welcome here. This is my place. Everything's meant for my enjoyment. It doesn't matter if you're my... And look at Aurangzeb, or isn't it? They had the Taj Mahal being built, and then he imprisoned his father and put him in the fort. He gave him a little window so you can see the Taj Mahal, and he just died there. And his own son, isn't it? And Kamsa, his own father, Ugrasena, imprisoned him. So there's this so-called love of family, children, friends. It's there, and we do our duty nicely. But Krishna has to be the center. If Krishna is not in the center, then death will take him, you. My father, he died very early. He was like 56 years old. And I remember my grandmother, his mother, was practically crawling into the coffin and saying, why should the son die before the mother? This is naturally a feeling of emotion and great pain. But this is the cruelty of material life, that sometimes the child dies. And sometimes, even now we see, if some of you see the news, I don't see too often, but it shows in Syria's being bombed, and they're taking these children all bloody, and the 4 or 5 year olds are sitting there completely bewildered, not knowing whether parents are alive or not alive. This is material world. It's a very, very cruel place. That at every step there's danger. One can easily be killed in a moment. So we should utilize our time that we have left in this world. What is it? One time, a young man questioned Prabhupada, maybe we should take up our spiritual life at old age, when just before death, you could prepare yourself. And Prabhupada answered that who's to determine when death will come? That death can come at any time, whether you're a young man or an old man. Sometimes people live to 100, 120 years. That this longevity of life doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to become any wiser. Prahlad Maharaj wanted and instructed all his friends, that right from the Kaumara age, from the very beginning of life, in the student age, one should take up this process of Krishna consciousness. And what is Krishna consciousness? To remember Krishna, to hear about Krishna, Krishna's activities. Krishna's activities in Vrindavan are non-different than what goes on in the spiritual world. He's tending the cows, he's playing by the Jamuna with his cowherd friends, his mother, his father, all his relatives are having loving exchanges. So Krishna consciousness means to always think of Krishna and always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. It's a very wonderful principle. But how do we do that? We stay in the association of devotees. We read and hear Prabhupada's words in Bhagavad-Gita. Don't ever think that, Bhagavad-Gita is the preliminary book. It's the very first book, so now I need to get on to Bhagavatam, get on to, now to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat. Let me go further and further, because I'm an advanced person. I've been around for 3-4 years. I know how things work here. But it takes time. Of course, one can become enlightened and a pure devotee instantly by the mercy of Prabhupada, by Guru. But generally one goes through the stages, through the steps with faith, shraddha. One needs to strengthen his faith. Shraddha, sadhu sangha, stay in the association of the Vaishnavas. Bhajana kriya, follow the principles of bhakti, reading, chanting, performing service, not the way you want to perform service. Prabhupada is very careful that you follow your authorities. It's an authority structure, not that we want to exploit or dominate, but things are set in such a way to enable one to advance in Krishna consciousness. When I tell Gaur Bhagavan, you're cooking so nice, he says, all your mercy, Prabhu, all your mercy. Or Pran Govind, I say, the decorations are nice, all your mercy. So it's a nice sentiment, all your mercy. It is all the mercy of Prabhupada. It's the mercy of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. It is the mercy of the 6 Goswamis. It is the mercy of Shri Shri Gaur Nitai, Krishna Balaram, Radhashama Sundar. True, it is the Lord's mercy. And that kind of mentality is good, that I'm not the doer. But if Krishna has given you some power, some mental ability to convince others of Krishna consciousness, some ability to distribute books, some ability to dress the deities nicely, to cook nicely, some ability to be friendly to all the Vaishnavas. These are Krishna's blessings. Not a blade of grass moves without the sanction of Krishna. Isn't it? Krishna's in our heart. He sees what we want. You want to stay in the material world, you want to maybe take birth as you don't know what it means to be you want to jump, you want to be like a frog, try the frog body. You want to be a demigod, a controller, become a demigod. Male, female, animal, anything you want. Krishna is like, he's just so kind. But when Krishna sees that we want to have, again, that relationship with him, that we want to go back, we want to stop being cheaters, stop being envious, stop being jealous, and genuinely, in a very transparent way, love Krishna and love all his sons and daughters, then Krishna gives you that ability. I am the ability in man. He's giving that buddhi, that intelligence. He's giving that enthusiasm. Where does the enthusiasm come from? Do you ever wake up and you're just feeling so lazy, you don't want to get out of bed? Or you think, oh, today's, I just want to just stay home and not do anything. Sometimes you get lazy, but then you might also, by Krishna's grace, be enlivened. And yes, today I'm going to read 20 shlokas, and and you're really enthusiastic, and you come and you're dancing in front of the deities, and actually we're chanting. I made an announcement this morning. Guru Prasad Maharaj says, why is it the devotees don't chant here? He said, that we're chanting in front of the deities. He said, no one's moving their lips, nothing. So people are just sitting there like, we should chant. And the darshan is going on, so I think better we stay. It's such a rare darshan of the Lord that many times people are out here, out there, doing this, doing that. Stay focused on Krishna. Stay focused on hearing the name, chanting the name. Take advantage of what Prabhupada has given us in the form of this morning program. There's always some logical explanation in our own mind, justification. Who needs to hear Bhagavatam? It's only the president speaking. No need to hear. I'll be lined up nicely in prasadam, waiting for get the Mahaprasad. So we should not try to cut corners, because the more corners we cut, the more we're cutting our opportunity to be very, very strongly situated in Krishna consciousness. And that strength, why do warriors train for a long time? Because they know that the enemy is also very powerful. And unless you know how the enemy will attack you, and you have the proper weaponry to defeat the enemy, you're going to be slaughtered on the battlefield. Although Srila Bhaktisiddhanta did tell when, who was recruiting, they were recruiting many people for war at the time, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, oh, these are all very skinny people, not fit for fighting in battle. So, well, maybe not the physical battle of materialistic warfare, but we should become fit for the battle with Maya. And the battle with Maya starts with our own mind and our own senses. And the way to become equipped and strengthened in Krishna consciousness is to dedicate our heart to Srila Prabhupada, to appreciate the endeavor that he put forward to cross this ocean and to deliver this Srimad Bhagavatam in the nectar of Krishna consciousness. So, otherwise, none of us would probably be sitting here. We'd be all in our own little Maya world, living out this temporary existence, getting ready for our next animal body. So Srila Prabhupada's going to the West. Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it's all temporary, it's all unreal, but service to Krishna is everlasting. Any question, comment? Something? Yes, Prabhu. The microphone's here.
You and the assembled devotees that in the early days, you're talking about not being lazy. Devotees were so engaged, getting more evening, and the particular push was the emergency situation. Prabhupada didn't know when he was going to leave, so establishing centers very widely, getting as many devotees as possible. And sometimes I've heard described that was an emergency period. In one sense, Krishna consciousness is always an emergency situation in the material world. But as an institution, we tend to take a slightly different approach. What should our approach be nowadays? 50 years later, are we still in a just expand, move? And that's our work in our emergency, or how do we see what type of work our institution should be focusing on with that same intensity, ideally.
Yeah. Very good question, because people do comment that in the early days, devotees seem to be working tirelessly with very brave. These some young Grihastha families left America, went to England and started a center in England, and try and follow Srila Prabhupada's footsteps. But it was out of love for Prabhupada, just recognizing that Prabhupada gave us everything. Prabhupada delivered everything to us, and we saw the sacrifice that he was making. So anybody who was a little bit conscious wanted to reciprocate that love with Prabhupada. So the urgency we should see now is that Prabhupada is sitting, he's watching, he's like the super soul is sitting in the heart. He's not disturbing. Maybe Prabhupada is not, you're not seeing roaring off the Vyasa asana saying, get out and preach. Why are you sleeping? Where's so-and-so in Bhagavatam? Where's Prabhupada would also ask, where's this devotee? Where's that devotee? Why he's not coming to the programs? So Prabhupada is here, and his teachings are here. So it is maybe a different time, and one does have to apply his energy with consciousness and with understanding, by reflecting and seeing the hard work of the devotees, of those who felt the appreciation of Prabhupada's blessings and mercy. They worked very hard to give it to others because they knew, they felt so appreciative. So anyone who's not appreciative, they're considered misers. Miser is one who has such a great gift, but he's sitting on it and he's not utilizing it for Krishna consciousness. So we don't want to be misers, we want to become broad-minded, Mahatma. So Krishna consciousness is for the Mahatmas. So there will always be those who are putting forward 100% and enthusiastic, and those are the ones who are hearing nicely. Prabhupada made comment that his Guru Maharaj appreciated that Prabhupada would always very nicely hear him attentively. So if one is hearing nicely, he'll speak nicely and he'll behave properly. But it's a lack of hearing and chanting. So we should increase our hearing and chanting. Then we can increase the fire of enthusiasm. Yes.
This is how ISKCON began. Prabhupada came in with a motley crew of young Americans. He began this movement, and they, as you said, they felt it was their responsibility, and they were so indebted to Prabhupada for giving us this Sankirtan movement and making it possible for us unworthy, unqualified, low-lying human beings to make spiritual advancement. So he didn't make the temples for us to sit on our butts and eat prasadam 3 times a day. He wanted us to use these as bases and then from there go out and preach. If facilities are provided for the devotee, now they go on the program, but if there are no facilities, just like Prabhupada came to America, he had nothing, no money, no no friends, no place to go. And this movement began like that. Devotees, because Prabhupada willed it, they volunteered to go to all of these countries like England or Germany or even in the United States to expand Krishna consciousness. Why? Because they felt it was their obligation to Prabhupada because he had given them this Lord Chaitanya's message. So we are Jagais and Madhais, and Prabhupada has made us into Brahmins, race, devotees. So you're young, you must be in your 20s. You have a long life in front of you. What are you going to do? So Prabhupada. So don't wait. Go out and do something. Don't be idle.
He's not speaking specifically to you. He's saying in general. He's looking at you and talking to you, but I think he's talking in general because I know Gopal. He's one of the Jagai Madhais, the early ones, you know. But he's a. So we have a lot of work to do. Prabhu is saying that there's still, like even in the USA, there's a few temples, but they're not as like vibrant as in India. Krishna consciousness just took root and is growing and developing, but still we have so much to accomplish or satisfy the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We need to get out and preach. Preaching is the essence. Yes. Ah.
And I came here to find where I came here to look for answers, only to make a difference. Like brother, you were saying, I had it just waiting all this time, being in my shadows. So I came here, even though I myself am poor, I live in South Central. I live in hoods where there's a lot of crime, drugs, violence, and coming here, I came to India not just to gain conscience, but I came to make a difference because I'm all tired hiding in my shadows and watching them take over people and abuse them and oppress them.
Right.
I'm here to hopefully look for answers and hopefully make a difference because I think it's time for us to take action because it's now or never.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. Because if you see it now, I think Milwaukee's burning and there's so much racial, gangs are fighting, people are fighting one another, isn't it? There's so much, because of ignorance, people have no clue of what is the purpose or goal of life, so this fighting will continue going on. So it's good, you come, take shelter of Prabhupada's mercy and blessings, and then at least for yourself, you'll have a clear understanding of how to proceed towards going to perfecting your life. Human life is meant for reawakening our love for God. And the process is by chanting the Lord's name and hearing about the Lord, and at the same time giving this message to others. So, you're welcome here. Thank you for coming. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.